True crime story of two brothers committing familicide. Despite being the largest suburb in Tulsa, Broken Arrow has the lowest crime rate of any city in Oklahoma. Its crime rate is 66% lower than the surrounding areas. However, that sense of peace was shattered on July 22, 2015. Around 11:30 p.m. In a panicked state, a 12-year-old girl called 911. She said her brother was killing her family. The 911 dispatcher could hear screaming and yelling in the background, as well as an older male voice. Before the operator could get any information from the caller, the phone went dead. The dispatcher was able to track down the address and the police were sent to 709 Magnolia Court. When the police arrived at the house, they noticed blood on the porch and heard a faint voice from within. The officers drew their guns and cautiously entered the home. Inside, they found the aftermath of a bloody massacre. Lying on the floor in front of them was a 13-year-old girl. She was later identified as Crystal Bever. Her throat had been slit and she had multiple stab wounds to her stomach and arms. There was an adult male, later identified as 52-year-old David Bever. The father of the family. He had over 28 stab wounds to his face, neck, torso, and arms. Next to David's body, police found his wife, 44-year-old April Bever. She had experienced blunt force trauma and had over 48 stab wounds to her head and all over her body. Nearby were the bodies of their sons, 12-year-old Daniel, 7-year-old Christopher Bever, and 5-year-old daughter, Victoria Bever. Daniel had received 9 stab wounds to his back, shoulder, and chest. Christopher had 6 stab wounds to his chest, back, shoulder, and lower leg. Victoria had 18 stab wounds to her neck, chest, back, and upper arm. Police found 2-year-old Autumn Bever, alone and unharmed, huddling in the corner of her room. Autumn Bever was rushed to a nearby hospital where she was listed in serious but stable condition. Detectives discovered that it was Crystal who had placed the 911 call. When she was sufficiently recovered to be able to speak, she identified her two brothers, 18-year-old Robert and 16-year-old Michael, as the perpetrators of the deadly attack. Crystal told the officers when they had arrived on the scene, Robert and Michael had run out of the house through the back door. The brothers hid in a heavily wooded area next to their property and the police used their canine unit to locate them. Police arrested the two brothers and brought them to the Broken Arrow police station. The interviews with Robert, Michael, and Crystal that followed painted a picture of a severely dysfunctional family ripe for bearing such hateful fruit as these two young killers. Crystal informed detectives that David Bever, her father, was frequently both verbally and physically abusive toward all of the children. She said that, more than once, David had thrown them across the room when he was angry and that he was especially hard on Robert and Michael. She also related a time when she had seen David beat her mom and slam her head against the wall. The family lived in isolation from the rest of the community. The children were homeschooled and not allowed to interact with other children. They were so isolated that many of the neighbors only learned of the family members' names when they were released by the medical examiner. Crystal also advised the detectives that Robert and Michael had spent the last year talking about killing their family and taking their parents' money. She indicated that both brothers were fascinated with mass shooters and always wanted to see such perpetrators avoid police capture. The brothers' philosophy was that there were too many people in the world, so they needed to kill as many as they could. During their interview with Robert Bever, detectives learned that his parents were hateful and abusive toward him and his siblings, and that both he and Michael had been planning to kill their parents since Robert was 13. He explained how he'd gotten a job working in a call center so he could save enough money to buy guns, bullets, knives, and body armor. He would order the weapons online and have them delivered to a local gun shop, where he would pick them up. In fact, he had ordered ammunition on the day of the attack. Detectives found 3,000 rounds of ammunition the brothers ordered. Michael and Robert had planned to kill their family. cut up and dismember them, and place their parts in plastic storage containers they would hide in the attic. The brothers had intended to kill their 2-year-old sister but had to flee when the police arrived. Robert further explained that if the police had not arrived, they would have continued their killing spree as they drove across the country. They wanted to kill 100 people. He confirmed what Crystal had told the detectives, that he respected serial killers and mass shooters. To Robert, killing multiple people would make him godlike. He believed that if he killed enough people, those who were not contributing to society would eventually be eliminated. Both brothers were charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of assault and battery with the intent to kill. Their crime is considered the worst single criminal event in Broken Arrow history. Robert pled guilty to all counts and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Michael Bever was found guilty of the charges and sentenced to 5 life sentences plus 28 years for the assault. The surviving children were placed in foster homes. When children commit evil, it is because they have probably experienced evil, often from the very ones who are supposed to protect them. Michael Bever was a time bomb waiting to explode. Thanks for watching. Please share and subscribe on my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook @Monpy Stories for more.